Hey guys, I am John Carrick, author of Legacy of a Mad Scientist and the Legend of Ashley Fox. Two amazing stories about Ashley Fox, a ninja babysitter who has a whole bunch of adventures. Today we are reviewing King Conan 38 pages by Marc Silvestri. And it's a pirate adventure. A lot of you guys might not know this, but Caesar once was on his way back from Rhodes, where he was studying. So today we have a thing called a Rhodes Scholar. Caesar was one of the original Rhodes Scholars, Gaius Julius Caesar. And when he was on his way back to Rome to Italy from Rhodes in Greece, his ship was captured by pirates. And he had he wasn't by himself. He was in his early 20s. It was after his military service where he'd won the Laurel Crown, which is the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor for rescuing a general. And it was pretty interesting how he got out of it. Today we are talking about this guy, Iron Bones, by Marc Silvestri, who kidnaps Conan's wife, Zenobia, when she goes to visit her parents in Argos, which sounds Grecian to me. Conan is the king of Aquilonia, which is essentially Rome, if Rome were a continent. And this is awesome. So this Iron Bones guy kidnaps her, she faints, and this guy almost goes to rape Queen Zenobia's maid, her lady in waiting, and Forge here, the sort of Errol Flynn, curly-haired guy with the mustachio. He knocks him out and says, "Don't rape the girls," and chases him off. So the lady in waiting and other members of Zenobia's court are left behind when Zenobia is kidnapped by the pirate Iron Bones and his crew. This book has almost no dialogue. There's no bullshit in this one. I have no complaints about the writing. The writing is bare bones, just what you absolutely have to have. If they had done this for the last comic, oh my god, it would have been so much better. You can just look and see what happens. Queen Zenobia is taken to the pirate ship and they set sail for open water. What else is there to say? I fixed the lights too. I noticed that yesterday the lights were too far forward and I was putting this comic into shadow. I hope that's not happening today. So Conan gets home, but Conan is in the capital of Aquilonia. I don't remember the name of the city. It is not Argos. I think they say, but I don't remember, and I can't read it. And he wants to see his son, Con, who's out with the falconer, Avian, very sort of appropriately named, sort of like the miller and the smith. They're named for what they do, right? So this is the falconer. At least he's not named Falconer, he's named Avian. And as the bird's coming in, Conan catches the game that the bird was carrying. The bird lands on Prince Con's wrist. And Conan is, complimenting his son, and he's home, and he's the king. He's being very king-like. And here's where the story starts, when a messenger from Argos shows up and says, "My king, the queen, has been kidnapped by pirates." Conan leaves without waiting, tells Prospero and Trocero they're in charge. If he and Zenobia don't return, Con is to be named king. We get an ad for Bubble Young Bubblegum. And here are the pirates. And we catch up with what's going on with Zenobia. And the pirates are kind of partying. And the pirate commander, Iron Bones, the captain, calls for Zenobia to be brought to his quarters. That's not going to go well. Of course, he's drinking rum. With a bunch of his deckhands, a bunch of his crew. And he starts talking smack to Zenobia and starts swinging his saber at her and cuts her leg. You guys might remember in Fury Road when Max shoots the leg of you shot his favorite. This is the same thing. So he gets the dress a couple times, but then he catches her thigh. And his second in command, oh, here's where he catches her thigh. So let me hang out here on this page for a little bit. They show it in red. This is still George Roussos on the colors. I don't remember the name of the inker, but it's not Rudy Nebres, who is a famous inker. I want to say he's Spanish. He might be Filipino. He might be, I don't know, from Queens. But here we go. Nestor catches the captain's hand, Iron Bones, and says, hey, look, they're not going to pay a ransom if she's hurt. Let's think about this a little bit, right? Don't go crazy. And the Iron Bones says, you're right. I'm drunk. Thank you. So that's good writing. Of course, we know it's Marc Silvestri who did all the writing. We know that all he got was, let's kidnap Conan's wife by pirates. And then Conan has to go rescue her. Go draw that. And Marc did a great job. 38 pages. I wonder if he did this in a month. Or if this was 2 months' work, if it was originally going to be 2 issues and they couldn't find a spot to split it. So here we get Conan, and Conan gets to the dock and absconds with a ship. Now we know that Conan led a pirate ship for years with Bellet. And we know that Conan has done everything. And he's the kind of king you want. He didn't inherit it, he won his kingdom. So because he's pure confidence, he has nothing to worry about. It took me a whole life to get to where Conan was at 16. I had a lot of training, I did a lot of practice, but he was natural, right? That was impossible for me. It doesn't matter. Granted, he led the king's life, so that matters, But it's a fictional story, so let go of the self-insert characters. Here we get Zenobia and Nestor. She's down in the hold, and Nestor goes down there to visit her, ask her if she needs anything, if her leg is okay. And she thanks him for rescuing her. And so here they share a moment. And we see this again later. Marc Silvestri loves these bookend parallel shots. I didn't notice this the first time. I noticed it the second time. And I'll point it out to you guys because it's really apparent the second time. This is good. I'm learning. I'm learning right now, looking at this the second time, telling you guys more than I would have learned reading it. So, like they say, if you want to learn something really good, teach it. I don't know anything about teaching comics, but we're going to go through these together and see if we can find out. So here, we find out what the commotion was, because they just got interrupted, right? They're having a moment, Zenobia and this guy says, I wish he wasn't our captain, or something like that, and she's, that's what she smiles about. Or he said, does he say something about, yeah, would never let a swine like him lay his hands on you, or something about her being so beautiful, And here, the captain is throwing this guy overboard for cheating at dice. He was cheating at dice. I don't know how you cheat at dice. I guess you'd have to have loaded dice or be stealing money from the pot. One of those two things. But regardless, we then cut to Conan, who on his ship is having trouble. His crew does not like the fact that this king has just waltzed on board and taken over their ship. And they don't personally know him. They haven't seen him fight. They don't know exactly what he's capable of. So they launch a mutiny. And a couple pages back, did they start the arrows? Yeah, so they start shooting arrows at him. They make the decision. I love how fast Marc Silvestri is advancing this story. There's not a lot of time for BS. This is a great example of how to compress a story. I'm taking notes on multiple levels because the novel I'm writing, 280 pages now, 120,000 words, I think. It's indulgent, but it's this kind of action. And I need to know how to compress it so that there are no wasted panels. There's no wasted panels in this book. So we get the beginning of the mutiny 2 pages ago, and we've got one archer up in the crow's nest, but the rest of the crew has blades. And they jump Conan's soldiers, and Conan goes up the mast after the archer because he realizes that if the archer's not brought down, this would have been a great opportunity to throw a knife, but he didn't. I appreciate that, Marc. I appreciate that. That's John Buscema's trope, apparently, although I've seen Neil Adams do it too. Night of the Dark God, Savage Tales #4, my second favorite Conan story of all time, where Conan goes back to his home village and his girlfriend has just been kidnapped by an Aesir raiding party of Vikings, and he goes and chases them, but he's not able to rescue her in time. So anyhow, Conan gets up to the crow's nest, dodges, what does he dodge? A knife? Another arrow? Knocks this guy out. He goes down to the deck, where he, ostensibly breaks his neck. And what else do we get? More drama. Oh, one of Conan's, Conan's number 2 gets knocked overboard. And so Conan doesn't go back down to the deck right away to join in the fighting. He dives into the water to rescue him using the archer's knife. That's all he's got. And of course, there is a shark right here by my finger. Because there was a crocodile last time. You got to have a shark if you're going to be in the ocean. Everyone knows you go in the ocean, it's sharks. Why, people? Don't you know crackers get soggy in water? That was a great bit. Ralphie May's bit about going to see open water in the theater with a bunch of blacks because he lives in a black neighborhood. Ralphie May's a genius comedian. He's awesome. So anyhow, Conan realizes his homie's dead. It was the armor that killed him. He drowned because he couldn't swim wearing the chainmail. And he wasn't used to it, chainmail and a helmet and boots, and he drowned. It wasn't even the shark that got to him, and now Conan has to stop the shark. So Conan kills the shark and leaves it to bleed. Now, this is interesting. George Russo's maybe there may be a rule about how much blood you can put in these comics because it's not often you get these big red splashes. I would do red splashes everywhere, and we know that. See, here, this is interesting. The X-Men, Wolverine, never saw blood. The claws go into guys. You could see little bits of blood, but it was never the way I would do it. I haven't seen the Greg Capullo series yet, but it will be interesting to see what they do, what kind of blood they put in their comic. Because when this gets colored, I can't wait. You guys should read these books. You don't know violence like this. I have a serial killer support group in this book where the serial killers meet up every so often and trade notes about who's getting away with what and who's up to what and who did what. The one serial killer is actually, for him, what he's doing, that's his livestock pen because he hunts other serial killers. It's not any fun for him unless it's a challenge. So, and he has a theory about when he kills someone, he absorbs the souls of everyone they've killed. So he hunts prolific serial killers and murders them. Different than Dexter. Dexter does it because he has compulsion. He's trying to rid society of bad people. Morgenstern does it. Dexter's name is Morgan. My character came out before that, and he was already named Morgenstern, so it was in the air. My brothers said Jeff Lindsay must have seen some of my stuff and stolen it. But my guy, Franklin Gustav Morgenstern, who's based on Frankenstein in a lot of ways, he's not compelled. He does it because it's fun, which is entirely different. Entirely different. So here, Iron Bones, this is after this is Conan. Conan comes up for air, and then we cut to Iron Bones at the bottom of the page. And Iron Bones wants to get some of Zenobia, and they see the... Nestor has come up. This is after Iron Bones has thrown the guy overboard for cheating at dice. Nestor has come up and challenges Iron Bones for command of the ship. And they're going to have a duel. and they have a 2-page sword fight. Nestor gets him across the face, right under the eye, which enrages Iron Bones. And I love this cover. I get to look at the cover the whole time, and you guys don't get to see it. This is Conan cutting through a pirate sail. If you guys didn't get to see Black Sails yet, the AMC series, check that out. It is fucking great. They do some messed up shit in some later seasons, but the first couple seasons are worth it. So here we get the next bit of the fight. Nestor and Iron Bones, and Nestor kills him. He buries the sword. You can see we don't know who's dead. There's a moment right down here at the bottom where Nestor could have been killed or Iron Bones could have been killed, but it does look like Nestor's got the advantage. Oops, I was holding it wrong. But yeah, this panel right here, it looks like Nestor may have the advantage on Iron Bones. He should be able to drive his blade forward in a thrusting strike up and under the solar plexus into the heart, and he did. Iron Bones is defeated. Zenobia will be safe. So Nestor takes her down from the mast, which is where Iron Bones wanted her during the battle with Conan, and sends her back to the hold where she'll be safe. And then they have the battle with Conan and the Aquilonians. And just to make sure that the crew of his ship will fight, Conan goes down to the hold and scuttles his own ship. He busts out a plank so that it's going to sink. First he's telling one of his guys that that's what he's going to do. And here he goes down into the hold of his own ship because he's afraid his crew won't fight and they'll just abandon them. So he knocks, he scuttles his ship, puts a hole in it, and then their bow knocks into the pirate ship's bow, and the fight is on. And Nestor at this point is not fighting for a ransom for Zenobia. He wants her for himself. He wants her for himself because he thinks Conan's a thief and an usurper, and he's not royal, and he doesn't deserve the crown. The only guy who deserves the crown is the guy who can take it and hold it. It's the only guy. You don't deserve to inherit it. And only if you are here's the way to inherit the crown. Use the royal wealth to become as great a warrior and as great a hunter as your father. In Germany, towards the beginning of world, Renaissance Germany, late Renaissance Germany, Industrial Revolution Germany, they were constantly doing those saber fights, and it was a mark of honor to have a slash across your face. If you didn't have a slash across your face, you were a bitch, or you were really good. But no one was really that good. When you see how those guys fought, if you go watch how those guys fought, it was just to get the slash across the face. They literally held their swords up this high and just moved them like a blender, and just to the first guy to get the nick. The first blood was how they decided to win, and that was all they wanted. They wanted the scar. And then once you've got the scar, you don't need to fight anymore. You can retire. So retarded. I'm sure tons of guys lost an eye that way. Although maybe they were wearing glasses sometimes. I don't remember. I've seen some videos of it. It's hilarious. Anyhow, here Conan faces Nestor, and Nestor talks smack to him, and Conan doesn't understand. He's like, what? No, that's not the kind of king I am. You're about to find out. This is literally fuck around and find out. And here Nestor says some stupid shit, and Conan fucking you can see that picture of him down at the bottom. He's not having it. And did they show him die? I thought he did. Yeah, right here at the bottom. No blood, but Conan's sword is driven almost up to the hilt in Nestor's chest. Essentially almost the same strike Nestor delivered on Iron Bones. And Conan finds Zenobia, and she is actually concerned about Nestor, but it is as it's supposed to be. And she tells him she's crying tears of joy. She doesn't ask about him, but she says she's crying tears of joy and she's so happy. And she is. She was royalty and Conan rescued her. They had a very fair relationship. It was not, there was no rape involved. Which is thank God Roy Thomas wrote it, right? Otherwise, it might not have gone that way. This is a good ad, not just the Kool-Aid, but this is for some Conan stuff about the future. I like the lion. The colors are a little pastel. It could use some more shading, even if it's just zip tones. But, you know, this is Marc Silvestri. They didn't give him credit until the end, the last panel. Maybe it's his fault for not putting it on the splash page. But, yeah. King Conan 19. Yeah. Oh, and this is good. Eight of Hearts Conflicted deck number 2. What's your plan? You have a community of 30 people. How would you organize your community? I can answer it really quick. I thought of it. It's a simple answer. And it's not fair that I'm not going to credit the source of this answer, but it's a simple answer. A cattle ranch. Cattle ranch is the perfect model for 30 group end of the world community. If you don't have one, go find one. If you can't find one, make one. That's what you need. That's all you need. Because think about it, at the end of the world, all the agriculture, I mean, if you have beef, you'll have chickens, if you can support beef and everything that goes with that, you'll have everything that goes with that. So that would be the ideal, a cattle ranch. Cattle ranch would be the shit. In terms of Comicsgate drama, look, I'll say this again, like I said last night, I'm having the time of my life. I am doing this to get rich, but I don't need to get rich. I don't care. I do care if I make money, but I more care that the product is something that the audience enjoys. And that's why I put these out here for free, was because when I saw what the publishing industry was, when I came out with these, the Kindle and the Nook had just come out, and every author with any unpublished books in their back catalog suddenly became a self-publisher. And self-publishing has changed everything. It's changed skateboarding, it's changed fashion. I worked for Christian Audigier for quite a while. That was why I ended up getting out of television, was to work for him. He's the guy who did Ed Hardy and a whole bunch of other brands. I was on stage with him for his 50th birthday. I was the cameraman shooting him and Michael Jackson. If you guys have ever seen the footage of Christian Audigier holding up Michael's hand, and Christian says, "You're the king of pop," and he says, "You're the king of fashion," that's my footage. So I got married in Michael Tolkien's backyard. My wedding was held in Michael Tolkien's backyard, who wrote The Player, who wrote a whole bunch of stuff, who has been the ghostwriter on a whole bunch more stuff, and I did not even ask him for help. It was obvious already the culture war was kind of happening, and he knew because of the girl that I was marrying that I was an aspiring writer, and he at no time, we didn't even have a conversation. And that was just fine by me. I already knew what was up. So I am as happy as I can be. I've done the work. If you do the work, once the work is done, yes, it matters if you make money. Yeah, people can call me names, but no one calls me names to my face. So life can be whatever you want to do in this world. You have enough time. If you are alive and you can work a smartphone, you can accomplish your goals, whatever they are in this world. Really, sincerely, if you want to make money, go sell insurance. Go work for Patrick Bet-David. I called him a thief today. Mine. Because of the H-1B visa thing. His argument was talent matters, not nationality. My argument is skin color matters. Because it's a great argument to make. Because it's fun. Because it's fun, and that's the argument all of you have been throwing at us for so long. That's the argument you have used to undermine white countries. So that's the argument we're going to use to unite white countries. And here's the thing. We don't need to throw anyone out. We're just not going to invite you to our parties. It's going to be that easy. It's going to be that easy. Gated communities, you guys have no idea what the future looks like. You don't remember. See, a lot of white people don't remember either. But some of us white people have researched history. And if you don't know what the feudal times really looked like, the Renaissance, all of that, mercenary armies traveled all over Europe, pitting one kingdom against another for fun and glory. And it was business. And that is going to be the business of the future. If we lose a federal government in a place like America or the EU, it doesn't even matter now. You have businesses already. For all we know, this Luigi guy is an MK Ultra bit. I have been predicting assassinations for a while, and we've seen a few of them. Look at the Mexican presidential election. Assassinations are going to become just the price of doing business. And you're going to get secret corporate militaries are going to produce the globalism of the future. Books like 100 Bullets predict it perfectly. Books like 100 Bullets is probably the best commentary on our times that's, well, in comics. Outside of anything like The Boys or Preacher. The Boys is really good. But The Boys is about superheroes. 100 Bullets is a very accurate reflection of the world we live in. So you guys should check that out. I have a good stack of them here, like 50, but they're scattered. It's a recent lot that I bought off eBay. Once I get like the first 10 or 20, that's definitely a series we're going to start. I have a bunch of books. We're going to do Inglorious Rex. As long as I keep learning something, okay? I'm going to also start doing draw streams where I record a session of me drawing. I've been ramping up the sessions, and I'm about to sit down and draw for a few hours tonight while I watch Trashcast. And really, you guys, whatever you want to do, just because you're not Bon Jovi doesn't mean you can't write music, right? Just because, like this guy Larry, who I didn't want to say his name yesterday, but we saw in the last couple months on a John Malin stream, we had a guy named Chris Williams come in and show an absolutely beginner level comic book. And then was very excited about it, was very energetic about it, and was extremely entertaining. And then we had this guy, Larry Niobe, come in and show a high level independent comic book that apparently some money was spent on the art. Chris Williams drew and wrote his own comic. This guy, Larry, paid an artist, and he's doing a ripoff of the X-Men. Chris Williams has an incredibly original idea, and Larry is bitter and angry and furious and hates the whole world, and Chris Williams is the best friend you've never met yet. Who do you want to hang out with? Who do you think is going to sell more comic books? A really professional looking comic from a person who's an absolute jerk, or a garbage comic from the most lovely, kind-hearted person you've ever met? Both of them ironically live with their moms. So which of these incel spurgs is going to sell more comic books? I can't wait to celebrate Chris Williams' success. Love you guys. See you tomorrow.